Thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. My name is Stephen Lewis. I'm Vice President of 804 Coaches for Change. Basically, what we do, we've been in existence about 5 years now. Our organization exists to basically give youth education-based athletic and learning opportunities, a lot of times through sports that are not normally available. We've been doing it about 5 years now. We also use our platform to educate and inspire the youth to be successful beyond the playing field, on and off of the court. So we host tournaments, we've done camps, we do clinics, we do public speaking as well. So definitely a lot of things that we're trying to always engage student athletes. So, and this is just another one that we wanted to try to see if it could work and if everybody would enjoy it. So be on the lookout for some stuff this summer and fall. Our Level Up clinics are going to come up this summer. Be on the lookout for dates on that with the speed team and with Sliders Baseball. We'll be doing that again. We've done that for the last couple of years as well. The Community Classic is back on again, the 5th year of the Community Classic, high school basketball tournaments for boys and girls. That's going to be in December. So look out for those teams that are going to be in those as well. And yeah, we're just going to keep pushing forward. We're looking forward to having another great school year. So, and joining us on the live is Molly Reinhardt. She is really a soldier in terms of this positivity movement that we're trying to push. She's with Befriend, and she's also a board member of 804 Coaches for Change. So she's going to join us on the interview with Darius today. So Molly, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know what you do. And yeah, thank you for being here with me.
Of course. Thank you, Stephen, so much. I'm Molly Reinhardt, founder of Befriend and longtime friend of Stephen Lewis. So I'm happy to be joined with you now together. So it's my pleasure. And Befriend is all about inspiring people to live their life with curiosity about others and connect with people through compassion. And, you know, connecting through sport is a really important way, and a way that we found very impactful for our community. And for example, we're partnering a lot with 804 Coaches for Change with the Community Classic, our 5th year, as Stephen said, in December coming up. And it's just a great way to bring people together through the platform of basketball, but also throughout the whole time, we are bringing the community together and educating them on different issues, whether it's gun violence prevention. We also have a big wall in the gym of, you know, positive messages. So we're all about just like lifting people up and bringing people together. So, and what Befriend does specifically is we create opportunities for people from other backgrounds to meet and have a conversation. And when they do that, we find that we have a lot in common with people. I like to say we're more alike than different. And that's what we're finding bit by bit. We're bringing our city closer together, and it's spreading all over the country. I'm actually going to New York tomorrow to do an event in Central Park. So nice. We're really excited how it's spreading. So anyway, Thanks again for the partnership, and look forward to this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you for always being there with us and always wanting to join with us. So yeah, without further ado, while you guys are all here, we're waiting on Darius to join now. Hopefully things will work out here. But yeah, our guest is going to be Darius Gray. This is our first live from the 804 St. Christopher's Star. He is so special, man. Young man is special in many different ways. I've gotten to coach him in basketball. I love being around him and his family, just wonderful people. They've been great ambassadors of St. Christopher's. Darius is a 5-star offensive lineman by pretty much every different recruiting service there is. Offensive lineman. He has offers from every football school that you can think of or imagine. He's been going on visits like crazy. I've seen multiple coaches coming through that I see on TV. I've been seeing them up close and personal coming in and trying to talk to him to recruit him to the school. So he's also a terrific basketball player as well. Averaged 21 points, 14 rebounds this past year for the Saints. Was named first team All-Metro as well. So 3-year starter for the varsity basketball team. So Darius trying to get him on. He said he was having some trouble. Darius, are you on? Let me hit it again. See if I can get you. I just invited you on, Darius. Not sure why it's not allowing it.
just
Darius, are you with us?
It looks like he's on the live. I see he just commented.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So he just started following, so maybe we can get him on now. Yes, Darius, can you join the live though so we can see you? I keep hitting your request, but it's not bringing you through.
He says, I'm in with you all, what he's messaging, but I don't see him either. Can anyone else who's with us, can you see three of us? It's not inviting me. Do you want me to drop and see if that makes a difference?
Drop off and see if it makes a difference. Yeah, right. Okay.
And then I'll just get off. Okay, and then I'll come back in just as a participant. All right, I'm leaving now.
Okay. I will try to send an invite. I see the invite. It says Darius Gray is unable to join. I don't know why. That makes sense. He has sent me a request, and I'm just in. There he goes.
There we go.
Hey,
hey Coach Lou.
What's up, B?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, I'm great. Now I can see I have a split screen and everything. I didn't have that with Molly. That was weird.
Yes, sir.
Well, come on, man. Thank you so much for being my first guest live from the 804, man, with Darius Gray. Man, just tell me how things been going for you, man. How you doing today?
Great. Things been great. Just finished being at Total, so just having fun with everything.
Yes, sir. Man, always working, man. I saw what was 600 pounds the other day. You was.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Goodness, man. So I want to start from the beginning, man. Like, how long have you been playing sports? Tell these young guys, how long have you been playing sports, and what sports have you played?
Oh, yeah. So I've been starting since I was 4, turning 5. So right there around that age, I've been playing basketball and football since then. Tackle football, started off with tackle, and played a little bit of basketball, so a little rec ball and things like that. So been playing with that all year round.
Awesome. What's your earliest sports memory? Can you remember one time putting on the pads or something when you were smaller?
Oh, yeah. Our championship game. So I was around 6. I was playing with the Chesterfield Falcons, and we had the Giants. And the outcome was not it, but that was like our first big game, definitely without a doubt. So we had an opportunity to play in the championship game, and it was just fun. It was a different side of sports. So
love it. So, biggest reason I wanted to bring you on, man, I'm really, you know what I'm about, man, positivity and all that, but I love sports as well. Like you, I think sports makes a big difference in people's lives. So what does it take? Like, what do you think is the key to being a successful multi-sport athlete?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I would give, honestly, is that everybody's life is different. You can't see what other people do and expect that same outcome or same work ethic you have to put in to be the same as you. Everything changes. So if you can figure out what you need and what's best for you, that would be my advice.
At this point, I know you're going through a lot, man, in terms of recruiting process and things of that nature. So at this point, what would you tell your younger self right now? If you could go back to when you first put on those pads, man, what would you be telling yourself right now?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I would tell myself that the work will pay off. Honestly, it's hard putting in hard work. That's why it's called hard. But, it's very hard to even get started, to be honest. So just being able to do that, I mean, that's big, and that's what you kind of have to do. So,
right,
yes,
got you. Who is your biggest inspiration? Take me out of it, man. I know I'm up there, so I don't want to take over the live. Just nothing with you, man. But yeah, who is your biggest inspiration, man?
Definitely my parents. I mean, just for example, we was at Clemson this past weekend, and everybody, it's like kind of a fun trip. Everything's free and stuff like that. So, and I just see my mom in the corner working because she has work. That's kind of like an example of where I get my hard work from, and my dad wasn't able to be there because of work. So, kind of those two things are like, kind of eye-opening for me. And one day my goal is to stop them from working, and they could just enjoy themselves a little bit.
I love it, man. I know you're going to achieve that, man. We've been talking about that for a minute. So the recruiting process, man. I know it's been crazy for you. You got your first offer, I believe, in eighth grade. Like, just talk about that, man. How has it been from then and now going into your senior year? How's that recruiting process been?
Oh yeah, definitely a long one. But I know God put the opportunity for me because I was able to handle it. So, just not, it's tough as an eighth grader to have one, and kind of life changed a little bit.
Yeah.
For the good and the bad. You can't really do everything you want to because now you're kind of on their radar. So,
Yeah.
I think the most important thing for me was just to stay focused and to understand how blessed I was to be in this position, and that God, put a great opportunity for me and my family, and just don't mess it up because it's only once in a lifetime. So
Right. Great. So what would your message be to other student athletes that are trying to be successful in whatever sport that they're playing?
stay isolated. That would be my biggest advice. Stay isolated.
Okay.
A lot of people have different, goals in life, and not everybody goes the same as mine. So if I could surround myself with guys that have the same goals as I do, and that's what I try and do. Like some of my friends
Yeah.
I hang around with, we all have the same goals. We all want to make it as far as we can during football, and that would be my advice because you got to be around who you want to be, and
Yeah.
so those guys helped me a lot, just staying focused and just being my best me. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. How does basketball help you? I mean, I know you love playing hoops. You played AAU for a long time, a lot longer than I thought you would once everything started to get going in terms of the recruiting. So just talk about basketball for me, how you enjoy playing.
Oh yeah, basketball is fun. You know how it gets. That first week is tough for me. I'm very, very feisty, very angry. Just trying to switch my mindset a little bit
Yeah.
from football going to basketball.
I'm like, whoa, calm down.
Oh
It's
yeah,
gonna
yes,
be
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. You know it. But I'll say it's been very fun. It helps me a lot, just staying light on my feet. As an offensive lineman, what we're mainly taught to do is just lift, be big, be heavy.
Yeah.
And basketball just kind of helps me be more fluent with what I want to do and just being able to move. So that's kind of how basketball has kind of helped me, and just get another side of competition for basketball. Like football and basketball are two different things, and to compete on a level where you're not hitting somebody all the time, and you kind of have to be more mentally focused in basketball.
Sure.
Not being angry, you have to be calm and everything like that. So it kind of gives you two sides of competition. So it's helped with that too.
I can't remember the game. I think it was maybe Trinity, and it was like every football coach imaginable at the game. It was people were just walking in like Dabble Sweetie, James Franklin, man. I mean, how do you keep your focus when like all of that is going on around you? You look up at your mom, like his coaches all sitting around your mom. Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, to have Coach Sweeney, Coach Franklin, all those guys in there. Those are guys we kind of watch on TV for years.
Yeah.
But I'll say the main focus is just understand why they're here. They're here because of who I am, and I'm very authentic, trying to be myself all the time, and just having ball, playing ball, and I like to win, so I wasn't kind of focused on them during the game. But after the game, it kind of sat with me a little bit, and it was kind of surprising that everything went the way I wanted it to. But yeah, you just can't think about them. Just focus on basketball because that's what they're here for. So
awesome. So came from public school to private school to St. Chris, I think in eighth grade. Talk to me about that transition, how it was going from public school to private school. How has that helped you, hurt you? You got to commute now. I think you're from Chesterfield over to Richmond. Just talk about all of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That first 2 years was rough academically.
Yeah.
It was just hard for me to kind of adjust a little bit the way I wanted to, and the grades didn't really result, the way me and my family wanted to. But I think it really helped me, find a passion outside of sports. It helped me, be more community, help the need, do a lot of different things that I wouldn't have done if I never came here. And it also just, made me more focused. Because at the end of the day, before I left, from public school, it was kind of just basketball. Because we didn't even have a football team, so it was just basketball, just playing ball.
Right.
And that was it. Academics wasn't a big, factor. But when I came to St. Chris, it kind of switched. It was like academics is a big factor. Football is a big factor as well. So it was kind of two in both worlds. So it was just my focus to, kind of switch and make my whole life, a game. Make everything a game. And that's what has helped me so much with.
Got you. football wise, obviously, offensive line, it looks like that's what you're going to play at the next level, but you're a really good defensive lineman too. So have you ever thought about, trying to switch the other side? Do you enjoy one better than the other? Always wanted to know because you really looks like you love to play both sides.
Oh yeah, I love to play both sides, no doubt. I'm an old lineman at heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about D lineman, because of the sacks and the tackles, but
Yeah.
offensive line
You get the stats. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
line,
you get the stats.
You only get your name called when you hold or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but offensive line is just different. It's just a different mentality you need. And somebody said earlier this week that offensive line is a nickel, not 5 pennies. Like you have to have a whole group with you. And that's kind of, the reason why I like O-line so much is because it's you and 4 other guys, and you need all 5 to be good. So
yeah, that's
kind of important. That's why I like it so much.
Oh, I love it. Well, we glad we got one more year with you, man. So we're looking forward to everything.
I'm excited.
So and guys that are on, I want, if you guys want to ask a question of Darius, I'm going to invite that here in a second. I don't know if it's going to work on this live. Again, it's our first time, so I'm trying to figure things out, but hopefully it does. So if you have a good question for him, no foolishness, don't come on here cursing and all that kind of good stuff, like, straight to the point. If you have a question for Darius, would love to have a young person come on and ask him a question. But you mentioned you just went to Clemson. What other visits do you have left? When can people expect a decision from you? Do you have any kind of ideas on that right now?
Oh yeah, so I'm kind of in the works right now to finalize it for 5. I want to publish it early July. It'll probably be like July 1st or something like that, somewhere around there. But what was your next question?
And when can we expect a final decision? So your top 5 is July 1. Do you have any clue of like when you're gonna make your final decision?
Oh yeah, the final decision that'll probably be, if I feel like it's right and God tells me it's right, it's going to be before the season. But if I still need a little more time to wait a little bit and just make sure everything's good, where I have no more questions, it'll be after the season. So
okay,
yes,
okay,
sir.
Good. And you still hooping, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody
yes, sir.
always asking me, he's still gonna play basketball, right? I'm like, yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
He's hooping. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, we got one from Eli. Again, you can request to join and ask the question. But Eli said, what did he say there? You see that? What advice would you give for aspiring Division I athletes? That's a great question, Eli. Sorry.
That is a great question. My advice would kind of be just to go past your limits. A lot of people are kind of comfortable just like lifting, for example, kind of comfortable just going until it hurts. But go until you can't do one anymore. That'll kind of be my advice, and just keep pushing yourself. And then everything in life is, hard to get if you want something big. So you just got to understand that.
Got you. Oh, he's doubling up. He asks, it's a selfish one. He asks, are you planning on throwing the shot put this year?
I do not. Don't tell Coach Miller, but I do not.
Coach Miller will be bad once he see this, man.
I do not.
Understand, man. Any more questions for Darius before we let him go? Again, you can request to join the live as well. Go ahead. You see it, Darius?
Sir, it says, what age were you when you started weightlifting and training?
Good question.
I started weightlifting about 7th grade. That's when I kind of started getting after it a little bit. That's when, it was right for me as well. And I've been training for a very long time, but it's just been more athletic stuff, kind of like jumps and, a bunch of, stuff like that, push-ups and, pull-ups when I can and things like that, since 5th grade. So it's been a long time, but I really started, lifting heavy, about 7th grade year, right before St. Chris.
Okay, J-Rock26, great question. He says, Darius, I am an undersized old lineman going into my sophomore year. What advice do you have for me? Great question.
Yeah, I'm kind of, known as an undersized lineman as well. A little bit under the radar at 6'2", 275. Guys are 6'6", 300. I think the main thing that I would say is that you have to have everything that they can't teach anybody. And that's like feet and your mentality and your work ethic. Those are, the main 3 things I feel like people feedback is for me is that, I have some things that people can't coach. Mm-hmm. And it's God-given talent, definitely. And so that's why I would just say is just to keep working at things, that people don't have time wasting on. and that's like feeding, your mentality, you watching film, all those things, just like that.
Love that. Jack Seal asks, what has been your favorite St. Chris football memory?
Oh yeah, when we beat Freeman. That's my
Yeah,
favorite memory.
that was a big win.
I don't think nothing could beat that unless one of our rival schools this year. But without a doubt,
the way it came, down 14-0, come back in the fourth quarter, win an OT. That's one to remember for sure.
Down 14, 6 minutes left.
Yeah. Jessica Tolson, great question. What made you start playing football as a kid?
Oh yeah. So it's a good little backstory to that. I was kind of, a little bit more angry child. So I asked my mom. I was like, Mom, can I, play football? And she was like, Yeah, you can play football. And she told me it was flag. So I was like, flag? I was like, can I hit people? And she was like, no, you can't hit people. So we didn't play. And I was 3 at the time. So we had to wait 2 years.
You were how old?
I was 3. I was 3 years old. I was 3. So I had to wait 2 years to put on the pads. But the main reason why is, I just love watching football overall. Sports Center, that's kind of just something I always watch at that age. So Sports Center, ESPN, all those things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. DJ Too Quick, what school has been your best visit so far? I don't know if you can answer that or not.
Yes, sir. The best one so far, OV-wise, I would say probably Tech or Clemson.
Okay.
Those two are very, very fun. They were very fun to just be around, players and, have a different experience.
Yeah.
But unofficial, I'm going to have to go with LSU. Going a little bit out of state a little bit. Going there and, just seeing a whole different, world a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my favorite part.
Got you. Favorite class?
Favorite class?
Great class.
This year, American Lit, I would say Miss Berry. She taught me a lot of new things.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Coach Harris down there at the Citadel says, would you share how important conditioning is and how it's contributed to your success? Great question. Sir.
Oh, yeah. I do that every day. I condition every day. I make sure I do that, especially as a heavier player. It's very important to kind of stay in shape. And that's my main focus.
Yeah.
I'm doing that before I'm lifting because it's very hard to, last 4 quarters instead of just one.
Yeah.
But that's been my goal this year is just to make sure every quarter feels like the first quarter. And so conditioning has been very important, for the past 4 or 5 years for me. And, I've just been trying to stay focused on that mainly.
That's a great question because some coaches were coming in maybe a couple of weeks ago and you were on the treadmill before you would even talk to them. So I was like, man, where you going? He's like, I got to get the treadmill working. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm like, okay, all right. So, that makes sense. Got another undersized lineman, 5'10", 250 D lineman, and was wondering what is a move that is really effective from a defensive lineman standpoint?
From a defensive line standpoint, I would say honestly using your height to advantage. Like a dip, a ghost rush, things like that.
Yeah. And
then mix it up with a little bull rush as well. Especially if you have longer arms, it's very effective because you have to look at multiple different things and. When you have just that instead of just like a cross chop or a swim move, those are kind of things that are very hard to, conquer because you kind of have to have good accuracy when you do it versus ghost rush, just kind of using your speed and using your leverage against the offensive lineman.
Okay. Got one from Luke. He says, what team was the hardest to block?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. This past year, I'll probably have to go with Camden. They had good guys.
Camden, yes, yeah. Out of New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they were tough.
They were very tough. I remember my first 3 plays, it was little to no movement. And I had to kind of switch the way I played a little bit. And they made me adjust mid-game. So it's been great, going against guys like that. But they were a pretty tough D-lineman because they had everybody. They had depth as well. So it was good.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here on that, man. It's been about 20 minutes with you, man. I really appreciate you being our first guest live from 804, man. No problem. Thank you. We're gonna keep this thing going. So if you have any ideas on anyone else that we should interview or talk to, send them to us, email us, hit us in our inbox. But we're going to keep this thing going, man. We want to hear from the 804's best, man. Celebrate the great young men and women that we have around here doing great things, and keep this thing on a positive note, man. So, anything that you want to say to end it off, Darius?
No, sir. I just want to thank you for having me on this live. So I really appreciate you. And I see one more question from Jaden Brown.
Oh, Jade. What's up, Jade?
Biggest role model in your time at STC? I'll have to say my freshman year, the offensive lineman, because I had 4 offensive linemen beside me. So that's John Miles, Reed Felton, Carson Lamb, and Luke Pendlebury. All 4 of those guys kind of helped me, become the man who I was on the football field, just because of their mentality. And I kind of got to see what it looks like to be a singer and how to lead an offense, So I was able to do that early. So
awesome. So we got a good line coming back this year as well. So looking forward to some big things from us. Got some tough opponents. I'm looking at the schedule with Coach Club. I said, man, we got a tough schedule, but looking forward to seeing you and the boys go out there, man. So, but thanks for the love, man. Thanks for jumping on with us, and thank everybody else for joining us as well. Like I said, we're gonna keep this thing going. Hit us up with any ideas you'd like to hear from. But until next time, man, we'll see you later live from 804. See you guys.
Thank you, Coach Lou.
Yes, sir. Thank you.